Hi there! Welcome to Pallet University and episode 18 and what is likely the finale of the main story of the Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Rescue Team DX Let's Play. Now, first things first, go wash your hands. Daily reminder. Second thing second, this is probably going to be the last episode of the main story of this series. I believe this dungeon is about 30 floors total. And 30 or... well, yeah, because the Magma Cavern was 25. So I believe that this one should be about 30. But I don't know that for sure. But either way, this is going to be the last episode. Because, you know, we're already... if it is 30, we're already close to a third of the way done. But I just want to thank you guys so much. That, like, this series has, like, if you started watching this series, like, when I first started uploading it, you'll know that, like, the day I uploaded the first episode of this series, the day this game came out, which was the 6th, I was at around, I think 150 subscribers. And right now, as I'm recording this on the 17th, so, you know, less than 2 weeks later, I'm, like, around 550. So, like, I've more than tripled or you guys have really more than tripled my subscriber count in the last, like, week and a half. And obviously, like, you know, I do this because I enjoy it. I don't do YouTube because obviously I don't get paid. But I do this because I think it's fun. And the fact that other people are just, you know, hanging out, especially in times like this where, you know, everything is pretty uncertain. That people take time out of their day to watch something that I create, honestly, genuinely makes me feel super good. So, I want to thank you all so much for just taking time out of your life and hopefully letting me bring a little, I guess, break from everything that's going on in the world right now. But anyway, so yeah, today I actually, like I said last episode, I haven't really done anything in the last couple of days because I haven't done anything. You know, I haven't left the house. I haven't gotten the chance to do anything. But we so I said last episode, sort of jokingly, but I actually ended up doing it. That I was gonna look up, like, talking points, just things to make conversation about, because so I used to have a Let's Play channel. That I don't really upload all that much to anymore, just because Let's Playing, and I've talked about this in this series before, so this is not a Let's Play channel. So if this is the kind of content that you're, like, expecting in the future, that after this series is done, and I will be doing the post-game, or as much of it as I see fit, I guess, because, you know, there are some things in the post-game that, like there's several dungeons that are 99 floors. I'm not going to do all of that because that will take like 3 episodes. I'm not doing that. That will be something I do on my own time. I might do the boss fight on camera, but like the 99 floors to getting there, I will not do on camera. Just because that's not entertaining for you. And it just makes me want to pull my hair out because being in the same dungeon for like 3 episodes will just not be enjoyable for anyone involved. But like for some of the shorter dungeons, or some of, like, the more interesting storylines, I guess, in the post-game, I will do those on camera. Yeah, so I looked up talking points. Actually, I'll get back to that. I'll get back to that talking point. Yes, this will, in all likelihood, short of them remaking, like, the next set of Mystery Dungeon games, like Explorers of Time, Darkness, and Sky, this will probably be the only Let's Play up on this channel. So if that's the kind of content that you are exclusively here for, thanks for coming by. You know, I appreciate you. But after this series is done, and honestly, probably after this, I'll probably go to every other day instead of every day, just to give myself some more time to work on the type of content that this channel was, like, started to make, you know? Because before all this, you know, I was sort of running out of time. before everything was, that's going on right now happened, I just didn't really have a ton of time to be making content. Because, I'm working on a master's degree. One or several moves have been sealed. The Pokemon can't use sealed moves. Status wears off to go to the next floor. Okay. So what was sealed? Overheat. That's fine. Yeah, so I'm working on a master's degree. And master's degrees take up a lot of your time. So my normal upload schedule is typically about once a week. I've been sort of slacking with that because, life and school is very busy. I guess that's sort of a good segue into the one talking point that I had, which was dream jobs. So I'm always curious to hear what people's dream jobs are compared to like what it is that they actually do. Because when you're a kid, everyone wants to be. I remember when I was a kid, for the longest time, I remember like the first like job that I had told my parents that I'm like, this is what I want to do, was to be a garbage man. And I don't know why, because where I lived, we didn't even have like a garbage system. Like we didn't have like a public trash system. We had like we took our trash like every week to the dump, and paid however much money. I think it's like a couple bucks per bag. But like we took our trash to the dump. So like I had literally zero experience with what a garbage man actually is. I don't think I'd ever even seen one like actually like in like even like a garbage truck really in my life. But for some reason I still wanted to be a garbage man. So that did not happen. No shame to like, obviously it's an incredibly important like public service. So like absolutely zero shade or anything. Like I greatly appreciate the work that like garbage men or women do. Especially now that I live in a city, like I wouldn't want to have to take my garbage in my 4-door sedan to a dump. Like that would make my like I have just a little tiny car. And that obviously is, less than ideal. But so the second job that I remember wanting was to be president. And as of right now, I have no plans for that. I mean, I think the last couple of years has proven that anyone can be president, but sure. But yeah, that was the second job that I wanted. And then, oh god, wait. You need to stop that. Use something else. Not that. Wow, that's a lot of damage. Okay, whatever hidden power I have is super effective to flying. Because it's super effective on Altaria as well. So it's either ice or rock. Which is good for Rayquaza. Anyway, dream jobs. Yes, so I went through several dream jobs after that. Most of them were sort of like science related. So for a while I wanted to be a cryptozoologist because I was very into the show Monster Hunter on I think it was like National Geographic or History Channel or one of those. But it was like this like sort of late evening show where people who claim they've seen Bigfoot or something like that. So a cryptozoologist, for anyone who doesn't know, is basically someone who studies things like Bigfoot or the Loch Ness Monster. And I don't know why I wanted to do that, because it was the first like science job where I was like, yeah, hit me with that. But that didn't happen because that's not real science. As fun as it is to talk about things like Bigfoot and the Loch Ness Monster, that's not real science. But anyway, eventually that actually translated very nicely to wanting to be a paleontologist, because for a long time, which is what I actually do now. For a long time, people thought that. Stop it. People thought that, like a lot of like the myths in history, things like cyclopses, are likely based off of paleontology. or you know, finding big bones in the ground before people knew, you know, what they were. For example, there's a really strong chance that Cyclopses, like those myths, are based off of elephant skulls or mammoth skulls. Because if you look at an elephant or mammoth skull, the sort of spot where the trunk muscle attaches to the skull is right in the middle, and it has sort of, you know, it's not completely closed off like this. It's sort of open like this, so it's sort of almost like a figure 8 type shape. But other than that, it looks like a relatively normal skull. So seeing that, and like people could think, wow, this was just a really big thing with one eye in the middle of its face. But like, so like that's and the same thing with like stuff in China where a lot of like the dragon myths are possibly sourced from paleontology, which I've always thought was very, very neat. So paleontology does have sort of a cryptozoology type history to it. So, oh no, please don't do it again. Cool. We're just getting out of here. Nope. Nah. Okay, cool. Well, Cooper fainted. Well. Oh, it got the boost again? Oh my god. We need to get out of here. Yes. Jeez. It's rainy and humid. The power of water type moves goes up. The power of fire type moves goes down. The floor is also diffused, which means that things cannot explode here. So if I step on an exploding trap, it will not work. Anywho. Yeah, so dream jobs. So I decided when I was in maybe like a sophomore or a junior, early junior year in high school, that I wanted to do paleontology. As cliche as it is, and it is very cliche. I've always loved Jurassic Park. You know, from the first time I saw those movies, you know, the thing that always caught my attention wasn't, geez, that did nothing. Wasn't, you know, the big T-Rex or anything like that. Like, I remember the very, like, one of the opening scenes of Jurassic Park was when they're digging up. We need to leave, we need to leave, we need to leave. Was when they're digging up the dinosaur at the beginning of the movie. And that was always, like, so cool to me in a way that I've never really been able to explain. And like that's what I wrote about in my like entrance essay to get into grad school. Was how interesting that was to me. And you stop that now. Thank you. What is happening? Yeah, so I always found that very, very fascinating. So, one of my lab teachers last year, when I was still in undergrad, he taught the lab part of my genetics class. You know, we had to have like a lot of like free time in genetics class, basically, where like, you know, we had to let and, you know, or sit and let like a chemical reaction happen, or when you're running like a DNA gel, you have to sit and just let the gel run for a while, and you can't really do much in the meantime. So he would try to teach us about some life things, about like life after college, basically. So he taught us about like retirement. He taught us a little bit about the stock market, as much as you can in, you know, just how long did he even have? In like 45 minutes to an hour. But yeah, he was very good at that kind of thing. One of the things that he told us about was, or he had us basically answer some like mock interview questions, which I thought was very, very useful. And the question that like my lab table got was, like if you were given like $10 million, or he was like, the amount of money doesn't actually matter. He was like, if you were given enough money today that paying your bills was trivial, that you didn't have to worry about money ever again, what would you do? And for me, I was like, well, I would pay off all my student loans, obviously. I'd probably buy a house somewhere. Probably get a nicer apartment for here. And then I was like, I don't know. I'd buy my parents some nice stuff. You know, pay off like their mortgage and stuff. I have a brand new little niece. She's adorable. She's how old is she now? When this episode, actually, yeah, it'll still be March when this episode goes up. So she's 9 months. And she is gorgeous. I love her. But I would buy her all sorts of neat stuff. Which I'm going Thrash, no. And I would buy, you know, my sister and her husband all sorts of stuff. I would spend a lot of money on like my family members. And then I'm like, then I just keep doing what I'm doing. Like I love what I do. I love paleontology. And my teacher was like, you wouldn't just like sit at home and do whatever. I'm like, no, I'd be super bored. Like now. And he was like, honestly, and then like a lot of my classmates who were at my table were like, no, like I'd move to an island in the Caribbean or some stereotypical stuff like that. And I'm like that'd be fun for a while. You know, I've been to the Caribbean. Don't get me wrong, I love it down there. You know, I spent like 10 days in Belize. You know, at this point, actually, I was there a year ago. Actually, I was there for my spring break last year. I spent like a science trip down in Belize. And did some like data collection for like an eco nonprofit, and I was like, I loved it down there. It was a lot of fun, and I was with a lot of my friends, which made it even better. But like at the same time, just sitting around and doing nothing, I guess, would be very, very boring to me. I'm the kind of person that likes doing things. And obviously, like, I love just having a lazy day sitting on the couch. But, like, I'd say after maybe a couple days of that, I would be bored out of my mind. And I love what I do. And the fact that money would never be an issue for me means that I could do it better. Because I wouldn't really have to worry about, you know, grant writing, finding funding for whatever project I'm working on. I could just do good science and work on the things that I want to work on instead of having to, because a lot of times with like grant writing, it's like, oh, we have, especially like in graduate school, it's a lot of, hey, we have money for you, but only if you work on this particular thing. And like, I don't like being told what to do like that. So I was like, no, I would just spend my time doing paleontology, and I would do much more paleontology than I am currently doing. And my teacher was like, that honestly says a lot. I was really concerned about what that noise was. He's like, that says a lot about like your personality, and that like that you are genuinely doing what you want to be doing. So what is your dream job, I guess? And if you are not doing that dream job, you know, there's nothing wrong with that. You know, life happens. You know, so sometimes things just happen. Life gets in the way sometimes. So like neither of my parents are doing like their dream job, you know, and yet, you know, they still had, you know, in my pretty biased opinion, a pretty good life. You know, they have 2 pretty decent children. And, you know, if you ask them now, I'm sure they wouldn't change anything of what they have for the world. But, like, I'm just curious, if you weren't doing, I guess, like, what your dream job was, like, in high school or something like that, I guess why? And obviously, don't get into, like, super personal things if you don't want to. But life is just weird how it works out like that sometimes. Because I know, like, a lot of my friends that I even graduated high school with, are doing things that are pretty drastically different than what they wanted to do out of high school. You know, I'm sure, you know, a couple of my really good friends in high school have kids now, and I'm sure that that was random. I'm sure that they also wouldn't change, you know, what they have for the world. But yeah, let me know down below. that lab teacher was also kind of a nut. So, like in a very good way. He was very quirky. So he tried to convince me, and like, okay. So let me tell you some of the stories he told us. So, straight out of his undergrad, he bought a one-way ticket to China to teach English. He went to China completely alone. Bought a one-way ticket. And so I guess a lot of Chinese cities have, you know, a lot of bigger cities here have like a Chinatown. A lot of bigger cities in China have an America town, which I thought was hilarious. But I'm like, it makes sense. Like, in my mind, I'm like, oh, that makes sense, I guess. Please don't do it again. Thank you. Yeah, so a lot of Chinese cities have like an America town. So he went to America Town, and I don't remember the city that he went to, but went to America Town, and basically went to like this little Irish pub, and it was he said it was named something like very like stereotypically Irish, like O'Malley's or O'Patrick's or something like that, and he basically just asked around. He's like, hey, I'm looking for work. You guys got any, like, do you know anyone who's hiring like to teach English? And within like a day, he had like 3 or 4 job interviews teaching English at schools in Japan, or in China, not Japan. And he did. He was there for like 5 years. He was like, yeah, I loved it. But he tried to convince me. Tropius is one of my favorite Pokemon. Join me, please. No, you're gonna die. Yeah, I have to be the one to kill you. If wait, why did that wake Dusclops up? Get off the stairs. It's very rude. Yeah, so he tried to convince me to do that, and like, you make a lot of money doing that, and it's all tax-free. Schools in China will pay you a ton of money to do that. Like, they'll pay for your housing, they'll pay for your flight home, they'll pay for like vacation trips, basically. Because English is a very important part of like a big test that they take right after they finish high school that basically determines like the rest of their life. So if they don't do well on like the English part, they don't do well. Oh, this is not going to be a fun time for us. Oh, wait a minute. There's gravity right now. Oh my god, Tropius. Tropius is on the ground. Is that because of gravity? I don't think so, because Flygon isn't on the ground. Okay, we're doing this. Don't use Earthquake, please, Flygon. Dragon Dance, that's fine. Cool. Yeah, you tried to convince me to do that, and you make tons and tons of money, and I'm sure it would be an excellent experience, but it's just not for me. And please don't keep clicking Earthquake. That would be so bad for me. Okay, so I must have Hidden Power Ice. If it's super effective to Flygon, and it was super effective to Masquerain. So I think that's the only weakness they have in common, because Flygon resists rock. Anyway, lots and lots of money, very good experience, etc. Not for me. He also tried to convince me to, instead of getting an apartment when I moved out here, he was like, an apartment's a waste of money, man. He's like, you're paying however much a month to get nothing out of it. The only thing you're getting is a roof over your head. That's not valuable long term. He's a very, very big like long term thinker, which is good, but at the same time, not always incredibly practical. But yeah, so he was like, what you should do is you should buy a plot of land and like a little camper, and just like live in that for the next 2 years while you're doing your masters. I'm like, okay. that implies that I have like upfront money to buy land. And I'm like, dude, I'm a senior in college. Like, I'm broke. I have literally zero money. So a lot of good ideas. Like, he's not wrong in the sense that, like, yeah, I'm paying rent to somebody who really doesn't provide all that much for me, like here in my apartment. But like, it's much cheaper than buying land and paying taxes like every year on that land, especially like when I move off for my like PhD or whatever I choose to do after this year, or after I finish my master's. And like what do I do after that? You know, I'm just gonna let this land sit here. But he's a very interesting character. He also told us in the same like stock market talk that he gave us. This might be the last floor. Are we done? No. So in the same stock market talk that he gave us, he was like, yeah, he used to work at like a biotech firm. So like he used to like make chemicals basically. So that, yeah, he used to work there. And he's like, yeah, one of my coworkers, he retired when he was 35 because he lived out of his truck. He was like, yeah, he got a job after, you know, he did his undergrad. He got a job straight after that at this place. And he like outfitted his truck. He put like a cap over the bed of the truck. And he put like a bed in there with like storage space underneath it. And made it so like he would like park overnight at like Walmart's or some place that lets you stay overnight. And he would like he'd go to he had a Planet Fitness membership, and he would go to Planet Fitness in the morning, work out and shower. So like he looked good for work. It's not like he was like you know, dirty or something from living in his truck. Like he would shower every day, go to Planet Fitness and work out. So he was in pretty decent shape. But the truck was paid for already. So like the only thing that he was paying off at that point was his student loans, his cell phone. Actually, I don't even know that he had a cell phone. Now I'm thinking about it, based on like what my teacher was telling us about him. I don't know that he had a cell phone. He must have. Well, no, this was like 15 years ago, so we might not have. Like 15, 16 years ago. So he probably could have gotten away with not having one. But yeah, he just lived out of his truck. And he retired when he was 35. He invested every cent that he did not have to spend. He put in like an IRA account, which is savings accounts are scams. Put your money in an IRA. I used to work at a bank, so trust me on that one. Don't put your money in a savings account. Savings accounts are scams. Put your money in an IRA. Let's see, what else? And so he either put his money in an IRA, or he put it in a... oh, I did have a PP left for that. Or their employer matched up to, I don't know, maybe like $5 or $6 grand a year. Like, if you put money into your own 401k, the employer matched it. So he put up to the maximum in that, and he put everything else into an IRA. And he had enough money by the time he was 35 to just retire. And I'm like, that's absolutely crazy, because people of my age, we're probably not going to get to retire. Like, Social Security is not going to be a thing by the time we get that old. What else? Like, the retirement age is probably going to be higher by the time I get to like 65. Yeah. I mean, granted, I'm 23. I'm almost 24, but I'm 23. The retirement's a long ways off. And it's really not something I should be worrying about right now. But like, also he told us that like if you take the same amount of money and like start like investing it in retirement stuff when you're 25 compared to when you're 35, you miss out on like $750,000 depending on like how much you know enter in with, you know, but you miss out on like 2/3 of what you could if you started earlier. So that kind of scared me a lot. Because like with academics, you know, I'm gonna graduate here when I'm 25, and if I go for a PhD, I'm gonna finish that probably when I'm 30. Because most PhDs take anywhere from 4 to 6 years. It's very uncommon that they get done in less than 4 years. At least here in the U.S. In the UK, they take shorter amounts of time because you don't have to do classwork when you're doing your PhD in like the UK, but you do here. So it takes about 4 years. You're doing classwork for your first 2. Where am I going? Yeah, it's retirement, man. Scary time. I keep forgetting that I have a PP left for flamethrower. Nope. Wow. Okay, you crit me. I was gonna say that's so much damage. Man, I only thought this was 30 floors. Silly me. The Rayquaza fight itself shouldn't be terrible. Yeah, the Rayquaza fight itself should not be that bad. Considering I have Hidden Power Ice, I have Stone Edge on Absol, and Rock Slide on Cooper. We're finally there. I'm so excited for what this fight looks like. This is the top floor? Who goes there? Who dares to trespass in my airspace? That voice. Could it be Rayquaza? Indeed it is. The sky is my domain. Depart at once. But we don't have time to argue. We came here because we need your help. Never. That's a big lizard. I am a being of the sky, and you are but denizens of the ground. To each there is a world destined as their own. For hundreds of millions of years, never once have I descended to the ground. And the opposite shall also hold true. Let there be no mercy for those that defy the laws of nature. Prepare for the end. Groudon's was cooler. But I'm very excited for what it actually looks like at the end. Okay. So let's do this. Moves. Cooper. Only use Rock Slide. Hopefully we can get some flinches. Absol. Only use Stone Edge. I know you haven't used it that much, but it's super effective. And you have Super Luck, so we can probably crit it a lot. Then everyone go after foes. That's gonna hit all of us, isn't it? Well, okay, there's one Reviver Seed. Good thing we've got so many of them. That's a lot of damage. No, don't waste turns healing. Just honestly. Oh, we did get the flinch. Let's go. Yeah, don't waste turns. Wow, Rayquaza's huge. Like, that's actually crazy. Strong wind gusts and the clouds beneath shake violently. What is happening? It's a cataclysm. That's so cool. I mean, I guess I just assumed that, I mean, it makes sense that they would do this here because they did it with Groudon, but that, still. Huge gusts of wind started blowing in the dungeon. Pokemon hit by a gust will be moved. Feels like... Oh, okay. So we have to get to the spaces that are not lit up right now. No, don't worry about those right now. Well, okay. Well, there goes Absol. The wind sweeps us away. Cool. Oh, come on. That was cool. Is this going to happen every other turn? Am I going to be able to get close to Rayquaza at all? Okay, good. Well, Absol's doing so much damage. And unfortunately, Absol is getting killed like every turn. I feel so bad for it. I don't even think Cooper's gotten... Oh yeah, Cooper did get one attack in. Because we got a flinch with Rock Slide. Yikes. That's super cool that it gets like a tiny cutscene for when it uses Hyper Beam. That's very cool. Okay, we're doing good. We're in a rhythm now. Okay, that's gonna kill Cooper. Poor Cooper. Okay, we've run out of actual tiny Reviver Seeds. Now we need to use the real Reviver Seeds. We've got 4 left. That should be enough. Oh, okay, perfect. Oh, that's cool. What, an earthquake? That's not possible. We're on top of clouds. These are shock waves, and they're huge. That's it, I got it. Straight up, Rayquaza. Or look straight up, Rayquaza. Huh? I love that. He's just like, what? This is gonna look so cool. What is that? It's a shooting star and it's enormous. It will destroy the world if it continues on its path. That's why we came, Rayquaza. Please, destroy the falling star. So that's why. Yes, please hurry and destroy it. Like, stop making small talk. Before I try, I need to know your resolve. The star has come too close. If I were to loose my Hyper Beam here, you would not escape unscathed. So? We accepted that from the start. Well said. Take charge of your destiny. Blah. Oh, man. That's a really cool shot. That's a very cool shot. I like this a lot. I mean, I shouldn't be surprised that the graphics are so much better because the original was on the Game Boy Advance, but... What? Am I dead? Is this a dream? No. This is no dream. Yes. The star's explosion swallowed me. Now I'm adrift as a spirit. I am dead. What's gonna happen? The shadow. Gengar. Gavin. Didn't take much to put you down. Serves you right. Now what to do with you? I know. I'll drag you into the dark world. That's what I'll do. Or that'll do it. Gengar's dragging me. Gengar said, he would drag me into the dark world? What is the dark world? Am I going to be abandoned in a world I don't know? How is that different than the very beginning of this game? Yeah. Eh? Darn it, I took the wrong path. What path? It's literally like a void. What? Yeah, this isn't like me. I can't tell which way is which. Yeah, forget it. I'll just ditch you here. That's it. Goodbye to you. Hey. Hey, can you hear? Snap out of it. Huh? This place. Ugh. This is going to be a pretty long episode, too, because there's a decent amount of dialogue after this. We're gaining consciousness. Ooh. I'm sure of it. I'm sure back there. Gengar saved me. Maybe... Did Gengar save you, too? Awesome, you're alive. You really had us all worried. You were incredible. I'm so glad you're safe. It's fantastic. Everyone, thank you. But what about the star? What happened to it? Qua. Fear not. The star is no more. Though it will not be right away, the disaster shall soon be calmed. Where's our friend? Be calm. Your friend is safe. Really? We did it, Gavin. So they're talking about Absol there. Everything worked. We've won peace. And this nice little cutscene of everything being normal. God, this game really is beautiful. This is the greatest. This calls for celebration. Let me shoot my hydro pump to kick it off. Well, hold on there. Don't point those things at me. Face the other way. The other way. No, let it loose. You got to be kidding me. I'll secure him so he can't get away. Oh, not bad. See, I like how we're just really freaking him out right here. What? You're serious? Gavin. Gardevoir. We owe everything to you, Gavin, and your friends. Peace has returned to our world. Thank you for everything. And now, Gavin, your role has ended. Soon you must return to your own world. It's time to bid farewell. It's finally come. This time has finally arrived. Gavin, I'm so sorry for this. To everyone, please bid farewell. Oh, Gavin. Gavin, your body. What's happening to you? Okay, I put on a little weight since I moved out here and started living like on my own, but like that's a bit rude. Cooper and everyone, I'm sorry, but I have to leave. What? What are you saying? Everyone, thank you for everything over all this time. Huh? Leave? What do you mean leave? My role as a Pokemon has ended. I have to return to the human world. Unbelievable. Go back to the human world? Oh, well, why? Why? I don't understand. Why do you have to leave? Aren't we friends? Yes. You'll always be my friend, Cooper. I'll never forget you. Don't go, Gavin. I'm lucky to have met you. What am I going to do when you're gone, Gavin? I'm so very sorry. This is goodbye. Gavin. And then everyone's like, Gavin, 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 blah, blah, blah. Rip. Gavin, no! Yeah, it makes me nostalgic for the first time I ever played these games, because that was completely unexpected. I mean, this game's 15 years old now, so like I'm sure most people knew that was going to happen, but first time I played this, well, first of all, I was 7 when this game came out. No, I was 8. That's not math. I was 8. And so like the first time I played it, I was very emotional. Gavin, why? I don't understand. Why? Why was it necessary to leave us? Gavin saved my life. But I hadn't done anything to show my thanks. Left before I could even say thanks. You're right. Just up and went like that. Why now? Why when the world's been saved? When else was I going to leave? Just when things were going to get better. This was coming. Our world, it was saved by Gavin. I look back now. When bound for the sky, Gavin seemed as if resigned. Resigned to accept what was to come. I think I know. Gavin must have... I wish there was a way to turn that off. So that just didn't show up every time someone came online. Maybe there is, I don't know. Gavin must have become a Pokemon to save us. And when the star was destroyed, Gavin knew that it would be the time to leave. Why? Why didn't Gavin tell me earlier? If this was coming, why didn't Gavin tell me? Those words can't be spoken. As much as you're heartbroken now, Gavin must have felt the same pain of leaving. Try to understand, Cooper. Gavin. It's like graduating college. I definitely cried at my graduation, I'm not gonna lie. What is this? I'm rising into the sky. Is this my spirit? I wonder where I'm going. Oh. Voices. I hear voices. Your friend is heartbroken. A true friend. A friend for life. But yeah, I definitely cried at my college graduation. Because, like, you make friends for life when you're in college. You finally realize it now. And you don't realize it until you're basically about to lose them, you know? If you wish, and wish very strongly, perhaps you will meet again. So, I'm going to cut through the credits. Credits are obviously very important. These people make an excellent game, but they don't make for very good gameplay. So I'll see you guys after the credits are done. Alright, we're back after the credits. Maybe. There we go. I don't want to leave. I want to stay longer. College. With my invaluable, irreplaceable friend. honestly, if I were Cooper, I would be a little bit pissed. I'd be like, what was that? Like, why would you do that to me? But, so we will pick up again with the post-game. The story of Cooper and Gavin ends here. But Poke Rescue isn't done yet. There are many rescues to be done. A new adventure begins. The legendary Pokemon are set to make their appearances. Don't go away. So, yes. Oh, that's cool. I guess I haven't actually exited the game since I did the Munchlax thing, but it's cool that that's on there. I've never seen that before. But yeah, so once again, the support on this series has been way more than I ever could have imagined. So I want to thank each and every one of you who's ever watched this series so much for that. Like I said, the series will be going to every other day from now on, just to give me a little more creative free time to work on some other. As much as I love this series and this game, Let's playing is not really where my like creative desire is, you know. So I'm going to be switching this to every other day to give myself a little more time to work on some other projects for the channel. I have a lot of really neat science type videos coming up. We took a little bit of a break from our fossil series, where I talked about the fossils introduced in Generation 8 because they're very weird. I'm also going to do a dedicated video for all the other generations of fossils. So the next one will be the Gen 1 fossils. You know, Omanite, Omastar, Kabuto, Kabutops, and Aerodactyl, and then so on and so forth until those are done. And then on my whiteboard of video ideas here, I've got a couple more fossil videos after that. So, once again, thank you so much for watching. Really, from the depths of my heart, like, this game means, and I talked about it in episode 1 of this series, this game means the world to me. The original one. And actually, I've got my, if I can find it here. I had to dig through my little gaming cupboard here to find it, but I have my original copy of it from I think this one I actually got in 2006 because I told a story I think in like episode 2 that I lost the first copy I had on the playground at school because, you know, I was 8, but this one I think also is it's probably also from 2005, but you know, 15 years I've had this cartridge and I've played it way more times than I can count. So this game means the absolute world to me, and I'm so grateful and so thankful to you guys that you get to that I get to share my love of this game with all of you, and that people would give this series the time of day. So thank you so much. Make sure if you enjoyed this series as much as I did, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe down below. We do also have a Twitter account. Make sure to follow us on Twitter at Pallet_U to keep up on all things Pokemon science. And as always, there's a time and place for everything.